Hey guys, so I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I'm not sure if I want to put this on my YouTube channel or my IGTV, but it's not going to be a makeup tutorial. Today I'm going to be talking about my journey with lupus. So May 1st this month is Lupus Awareness Month, so I thought I'd kick it off with making a video talking about this autoimmune disease. For those of you who don't know what lupus is an autoimmune disease that basically attacks like anywhere in the body, and there's different types of lupus. I have the systemic lupus, which is called SLE. I don't know how to pronounce the whole entire thing, but I'll link it down below. And that's the kind that I have. That's basically like organ involvement. It attacks your skin, everything to your heart, your brain, like your eyes, like literally everything. Your body basically, like, it doesn't recognize itself. So instead of like protecting it, it attacks it. It attacks the tissues and stuff like that. And joint pain is also something that a lot of us struggle with. Lupus affects men and women, but mostly women, and mostly in African American women. So I was diagnosed 4 years ago in 2016. But prior to finding out that I had lupus, I went years without knowing like what was wrong with me. I always felt really tired. I didn't have like joint pain like most lupus patients have or get, but mainly just fatigue, and I was constantly getting sick, like all the time. Upper respiratory infections, just colds all the time. Like it was just nonstop. And at 21, like, you're supposed to be in your prime, and don't get me wrong, like I was still going out and having fun, but it wasn't, I didn't feel like I was supposed to feel like super healthy and stuff like that. So I started going to a hematologist, a blood doctor, and we were constantly doing blood work like every 3 months and then every 6 months, just to check my levels, and my white blood cells were always super low, and we could never really find out why. So she diagnosed me with I think, I don't know if I'm gonna say it right, leukopenia. I could be wrong, but that basically means, you know, when you constantly have low white blood cells, so you're more prone to get sick and get infections when you have that issue. And then that kind of led up to me following up with a rheumatologist, because I mean, we weren't really getting any answers. So then I did a bunch of blood work with my rheumatologist, and then that's when I found out that I had lupus. When I first got diagnosed, I still wasn't getting like severe symptoms like other people, which was nice, of course, at the time. Besides like, you know, extreme like fatigue and stuff, which I was suffering with already for like years prior. But then I want to say in 2018 is when things kind of like took a turn, and that's when my lupus really like started actively like attacking me. One day I just woke up with like severe pain on the left side of my body, and I didn't know why. I didn't work out or like do anything crazy, but I was just like, oh, maybe I slept on that side of my body for too long or something like that. So I kind of just like put it off. But then as the days like kept progressing, it just got like worse and worse and worse. And then I went to work one day, and like I could just like barely walk. Like the pain was so severe. So then I went to City MD, like next door to my job at the time in the city, and they did blood work and stuff like that. And then they called me up the next day and they were like, you need to go to the hospital right away. Like it has to do with your pancreas and your levels are like sky high. So then I went to the ER, and at the time, like the pain was like worse obviously than the day before, and I was constantly throwing up. Like everything I ate was just coming right back up. So then I drove to Staten Island, and I went to the hospital over there, and they told me that I had pancreatitis. I got hospitalized for like half the year, like in and out the hospital every like 3 to 4 weeks. And nobody like had an answer as to why this kept happening. And I kept telling the doctors, like, you know, it has to be autoimmune related because I have lupus. And they kept saying, no, 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 no. So they were always doing these tests and stuff, and like nothing was, you know, like coming up supposedly when it came to being autoimmune related. And it was getting really scary because I went from 118 pounds to 98 pounds. I'm pretty tiny. If you guys know me, you know that I'm like 5'2". I'm really tiny. So going from 118 to 98 was like drastic. I looked really sick. And with pancreatitis, when you go to the hospital, you're really not allowed to eat until you feel like you can. They'll introduce food to you like little by little, but I would be hospitalized for like 4 to 5 days, and most of those days I'm like just on IV fluids and like heavy medication, on morphine. And morphine's no joke. So from being hospitalized and not being able to eat, like that's how I lost all that weight. And then it got to the point where, since they couldn't like get an answer, they were just like, it was a guessing game. And they thought that it had to do with my gallbladder, and then they were ready to like perform surgery and take out my gallbladder without even having like an exact answer, because they just, I don't know, I guess they just thought that would solve things. Thankfully that didn't happen. I wasn't going to let that happen. You're not going to take out an organ and we don't know, like, you know, what's going on. But then I ended up following up with my rheumatologist, and we did some further blood work, and she was like, this is 100% related to your lupus. So as soon as we found that out, then we went in the right direction as to how to calm the disease down from attacking my pancreas, because it was getting to the point where if it would have kept going on, like my pancreas was probably going to get removed, because it was just getting severely damaged every single time I got hospitalized. So we started on like heavy doses of medication. I take Plaquenil, which I'm sure you guys all have heard about it with this COVID thing, since Trump spoke about it and said that it helps, you know, with the virus and stuff like that. So we started with that, and then I went on prednisone, like a high dose, and the prednisone actually really helped me for the inflammation to go down. But prednisone's not a medication that you want to be on for a long time. So yeah, it's not fun at all. It's something that I really struggle with, and although I'm grateful that I do feel healthier now than I have in a while, just mentally, and I think that's something that not enough people in the lupus community talk about. I also don't feel like doctors talk to their patients enough about that, because the mental part is really like, it's a big deal, you know, because when this happens to you, it's kind of like your whole life just changes drastically. And I mean, that's what happened to me. I went from, I mean, I didn't feel good prior, but I didn't feel like I did like now, you know, like my life had to drastically change in terms of working and stuff like that. Like when I was getting hospitalized, I couldn't work for a year and a half, and I just started working again in 2019 in May. So it's almost a year, and I'm super grateful that I could work again. You know, a lot of people with lupus, like, it's so severe for them that you can't even go back to work at all. Like, some people just have to collect SSI and disability for the rest of their lives. And I'm sure, like, that's not what they want, you know, but some people have no choice. Every case is, like, really different for everybody. Everybody has a story to tell. So, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about mine, so you guys could get to know me a little bit more. Lupus Awareness Month is something that's very important to me. On my personal page, I'm always posting, like, every day something about lupus, just to educate people, because lupus isn't a disease that's talked about enough or that a lot of people know about. And 1.5 million Americans have this autoimmune disease, and, like, people won't even know because you wouldn't even think I'm sick. Like, I look normal, and most of us look normal, but we're struggling on the inside severely. We're tired, we're in pain, our joints are hurting us, but a lot of us still are able to push through, so you wouldn't even know. So I just wanted to talk about it. I might sound repetitive. I think it's important for me to try and be an advocate and educate people. I definitely want to make more videos talking about this. Maybe I'll post something where we could do, like, a Q&A, and, like, you guys can ask me questions about it, and I'll make another video answering all those questions. I just think that this is something important for me to do, and I just want to, you know, let all the other lupus warriors out there who may be watching this know that you are loved, you are supported. I'm always here. My DMs are always open for anybody to talk to me, especially my lupus warriors. Like, I've had so many people reach out to me, and we've had so many beautiful conversations. And if I didn't find the lupus community, like, I feel like I would have went into, like, a severe depression. And don't get me wrong, like, I was, like, really depressed at one point in my life when I was home for a year and a half, and I couldn't work and I couldn't do anything. But I feel like if I didn't have that community during that time, if I didn't find the community during that time, like, it definitely would have been worse. Knowing that there's people out there struggling and going through the same thing as you definitely brings some type of comfort, because you feel like you have somebody to connect with and who's going to understand you, and that you can just be open and super raw with about this subject. Because sometimes talking to your loved ones and talking to your family, not everybody, like, they can understand you, but only to an extent, because they're not going through what you're going through. So I want to make this video, like I said, to educate people. And my lupus warriors, I love all of you. My DMs are open, like I said. I'm here for you guys. And yeah, I think I'm gonna end this video here. I feel like I rambled a lot. Also, I hope everybody is staying safe during this crazy time. I know it's hard. I definitely know it's hard on a lot of people. Not only people like me, but just normal, healthy people. It's such a huge change in our routines. And a lot of us who suffer from chronic illnesses, like, this isn't really new to us. But it definitely still affects us, though. I know it affects me still. I mean, I went from not being able to work for a year and a half to finally working, and then this happens. And it's just like, it's like deja vu, like, just being, like, trapped inside the house and stuff like that. Like, it's not a good feeling, but I'm pushing through, and I hope everybody else is too. Okay, I'm really gonna end this video off here now. Please leave questions down below. Anything, message me, whatever you want. I definitely want to make this, like, a series, I guess, like, talking about this. I think I'm gonna do the poll, like I said, so people can ask me questions. Not a poll, but you know what I mean. I'm rambling too much, so I'm just gonna end this here. Thank you so much if you watched this whole entire video. If you know anybody who has lupus, send them this video, show it to them. I want to hear about more people's stories. So yeah, I'm gonna end it off here. Bye guys.